good here, I hope. Wonder if the gods are watching me. What's inside?
Blessed be you, pilgrim. Take respite now in the dawn's loving gaze.
Looks like Lathander, god of the dawning sun.
Hello? Who's that? A friendly face. Oh, you are a sweet, sweet blessing, my dear. You know, I've had nothing but trouble all day. I've been accosted, chased, insulted. Look over there. Do you see that wretched little hive? Oh, it certainly looks that way. But inside, it is swarming with brutish, stupid, rude Githyanki. They have the audacity to call that hole a creche, as if it weren't actually a murderous training camp. Honestly, I was doing them a favor offering to buy one of their eggs. And how am I repaid? Attacked and run off like some transient. What? No, of course not. I was merely... Well... Look, it's just an egg. The Society of Brilliance asked me to acquire one of their roe so they can incubate it and, once it hatches, raise the spawn in their tradition. The Society believes a Githyanki raised in a peaceful, nurturing environment can overcome its violent nature. Hogwash, of course. A Githyanki can no more rise above its nature than gnomes can fly. You've been sipping from the same goblet as the Society. Perhaps you'd be willing to help, then, to prove your point. They may have chased me away, but surely the Gith would welcome a person with such sympathetic views to their creche. And once inside, you could see... You'll be well compensated, of course. Just bring me an egg. I suppose there is a reason. Very well.
This view's almost worth the walk.
Maybe not.
completely stuck. Might not be the time.
You'll be well compensated, of course. Just bring me an egg. I should hope so. When adventure calls, I am always thoroughly prepared. Take a look. Now, I believe you have places to be. I suppose very...
Very well. Wish I had a bag of holding.
That's not going to work. Maybe not. That was tough. This can't have been used in a while.
With haste. Maybe I need more pockets. Better not be cursed.
North, Rosy Morn Monastery.
pack mules or horses.
That might be
This
worth a look.
perish thought. Those ill-tempered beasts are prone to biting.
Don't fancy getting my hands dirty. I need a shovel.
Maybe it'll bring us closer.
How can I help? If nothing else, I'm sure I piqued your curiosity. As long I can assure you, the battlefield would extend well beyond the borders of my body alone. Like I said, I'm dangerous even in death. I'm merely trying to protect those around me. I assure you it's not. Don't get me wrong, you did well. The somatic component, the verbal component, even the focus on the inner self that invites Mystra in. But I was still your conduit. To perform such a feat alone requires much and arduous study. Of course, as a paladin, your patron deity endows you with many such powers otherwise unattainable. I do hope you cherish that gift. Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistril, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like. To be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable. To be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistril sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistril. The end of Karsus and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly. For a spell, Mistril was reborn as Mystra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mystra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go. If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls. I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Hello, my dear. What's to tell? I was sired by a vampire named Cazador. Everything before that is so long ago it's ancient history. And everything that came after, well, I'd rather not reflect on it. I was a magistrate, working to keep the peace in Baldur's Gate, imprisoning troublemakers, that kind of thing. I can't remember much, truth be told. Centuries of torment will do that to you. I was attacked. A gang of vagrants, a tribe of wandering Gur, took issue with a ruling I'd made. They beat me to death's door when Cazador appeared. He chased them off and offered to save me, to give me eternal life. Given that my choices were eternal life or bleed to death on the street, I took him up on the offer. It was only afterwards I realized just how long eternity could be. Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again. I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble. No innocence. You have my word. Only villains that we need to kill anyway. After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons. Teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead. As am I. I'm starting to feel a little peckish already. Not anymore. Which is all that matters, really. Oh, there'll be others. I'm sure of that. If Cazador sent one peon after me, he'll send another. Cazador Tsar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor. It was him, I'm sure. Only he would know to send the Gur after me. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldur's Gate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me. Maybe he was just drawn to the smell of blood. The point is, I have history with these barbarians. Cazador's sending a message. He's reminding me of his power. Even in the middle of nowhere, he can reach me. And he wants me back. Aha! Safe! You think I'm safe? Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses? He can change shape, turn into mist, call walls to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you. First, we have to... I don't know. Well, if we kill his lackeys, he'll just send more. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight. Who knows? Drow? Mind flayers? Death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers, if we can convince the right people to talk. I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way, so why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador. I'm glad to hear it. Whatever's coming, we need to keep our options open. It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire. Free and a true vampire, capable of creating my own coven. Yes. Although, I'd settle for just killing the bastard. I wouldn't be a true vampire, but I'd be free of him.
Soldier? First things first, I need to get this engine tuned up. Thing's powerful, but it's been feeling volatile ever since I left the Hells. Can't be too hard to find an infernal mechanic round here, right? Funny you should ask. I was just thinking about what would have become of us without that Nautiloid. I mean, I know where I'd be. Trapped in Avernus still, with the Blade of Frontiers on my tail. But what about you? Lucky you. Sometimes I think I'd be better off indulging in a bit of light oblivion. Well, you may as well make some good memories mixed in with the body horror, huh?
The Blade of Frontiers at your calling. It's said that anyone who bathes in the river of blood emerges as one born anew. It's a lot like that, I imagine. I feel the weight of these horns on my head, curling upwards like a mammoth's tusks. I feel these ridges snaking down my neck, not to mention a few bumps and prongs in unmentionable places. But I haven't seen my reflection just yet. Be my mirror. What do you see? It's because you know the heart lurking under the horns. The people will see a curiosity, maybe even a beast hungry for their souls. But I will slay their monsters, keep them safe, and one day they will see the Blade of Frontiers again. A possibility that's kept me awake countless nights. But I don't have a clue where to start, other than play her games and play by the rules. That's the only language devils listen to. There could well be. She has the blighted thing. What I know of it is simply what has engraved itself upon my memory. My contract is very clear. I can bring Mazora no harm. She'll have to let me out of my pact willingly. The only way out is if I can out-bargain her. We're standing here with nothing but the clothes on our backs and the worms in our heads. We can. I'm sure of it. How glad I am that you see me as more than my patron's pet.
Oakfather's blessings to you. I studied one up close. Closer than most would care to be to those things. A drow attacked me and I defended myself. Afterwards, I was able to examine the tadpole that emerged. Hideous, but fascinating. Like nothing else in nature, I'm glad to say. Hopefully, I've chosen a successor as first druid, Francesca of the High Forest. I sent a bird to summon her. Precisely. Who indeed? You do not know, and neither do any of the others. The Grove needs to move beyond the mistakes of the past. What it needs is an unknown quantity. An outsider who can enforce the Oakfather's teachings without bias. This is why I chose Francesca. She will restore simplicity and purity to the Grove in my absence. Contrary to how some think of us, we druids can play politics when necessary. Those illithid creatures threaten the natural order. It's my duty to do what I can to stop them. There's also the Shadow Curse. It's an affront and must be cleansed. I helped overthrow Ketheric Thorm and his Dark Justiciars years ago, but I failed to prevent him from unleashing darkness across the region before he was defeated. If I can join you and get close to Moonrise, perhaps I can lift this curse, just as you find a cure for your infection. Well, there's hardly anyone left to share the responsibility with. Few who witnessed the fall of Moonrise still draw breath. What Ketheric Thorm unleashed is not something that nature can undo by itself. I must do what I can. I studied the Shadow Curse for years, but to truly understand it and stop it, I must reach its source. Perhaps. But we'll need to get closer before I can put my theory into practice. Put it from your mind for now. Once we near the curse, then there will be more to be said. Miss it? Oh dear, no. It's a terrible burden. Takes you away from nature and forces you to deal with others' problems and personalities. Be wary of anyone who actually wants such a role, I say. Likely they don't understand it, or they have ill intent. I'm just glad to be out here amidst the Oakfather's creations.
The Kresh must be nested in that temple. Our cure is close.
Your skull trembles, your parasite wriggles. Lae'zel sees your memories of your confrontation with Kithrak Voss.
Voss! Gestil Kithrak, Knight Supreme. An honorable warrior, Vlaakith's finest. I am impressed. He wanted your head, yet it remains firmly atop your shoulders. A lesser man would be adorning the road as a shredded corpse. As I'd expect, ancient Githyanki symbols adorn the artifact's face. We can deliver it to a Kithrak or Vash at the first opportunity. Now, to the point. The Kresh is not far from where you met Voss. We must go there immediately. Unless, of course, you'd rather sprout waxy tendrils where there were no tendrils before. Keep me at your side, and I will invoke protocol. It is my people's duty to aid infected Githyanki. Had I been traveling with you, we might have avoided the Knight's fury. It is over where I am concerned. It is through conflict that we strengthen our bonds. Yet I do not recommend Shadowheart seek it again. The next resolution may not end in her favor. I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less. One couldn't, and one shouldn't. Do as you like. The loss is not so much mine as yours. You made it abundantly clear. Mark my words. You might as well ask me to gouge out my eyes for the promise of sight, or slice off my tongue. Consume all the gate tadpoles you wish. I'm not so craven. Consume all the gate tadpoles you wish. I'm not so craven. Consume all the gate tadpoles you wish. I'm not so craven. No, that's absurd. When the tadpole has stretched to every pore and it won't hear. My faith in Vlaakith will guide me, and my own might will sustain me. I have no need of this depraved power. You might be right. The tadpole is perhaps... Very well. I will swallow my disgust and avail myself of the parasite's powers. You've no room. Dismiss... Curious, perhaps...
On my way.
I can't believe I'm actually venturing into a Gith stronghold again, voluntarily. This had better pay off. True. We're acting out of desperation. Let's just be careful. Any potential cure is useless if our heads are parted from our shoulders beforehand. They must want that artifact back badly if they're dispatching red dragons in pursuit of it. But we cannot afford to lose it. I wish I'd never been sent on this mission. You'll have to live with that curiosity for now, I'm afraid. Let's just concentrate on ridding ourselves of these tadpoles. All will be revealed in due time, I hope. I know. I felt it. You wouldn't have been able to take it. I felt it go from me to you. You need its help, just as it needs us. Still just a box, after all. Might not be possible. It's stubborn that way. Prone to lashing out. Keep it for now. We can all help to protect it. Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something? I was. He mentioned Dark Justiciars, and we've come across other signs of a Sharan presence during our travels. I'm not sure I can dismiss that as a coincidence. The wound on my hand. It never quite heals. And sometimes it causes terrible pain to rip through me. It's my burden, though, from Lady Shah. I can feel her influence somehow. I'll try my best. But secrecy is ingrained in me. Lady Shah considers it greater protection than any shield or armor. I cannot say. Not with what I can recall. But even then, it would not be for me to question her will. Lady Shah has her reasons. It's difficult to say. Sometimes I wonder if it's supposed to be guiding me, punishing me, testing me. But perhaps it's none of those. Perhaps it's completely random. I'd like to hope there's more to it than that. Some meaning that Lady Shah will reveal to me when the time is right. Until then, all I can do is endure. It's less difficult than you might imagine, when you can't remember life without it. Pain is sacred to followers of Lady Shah. Pain will give way to loss and then to the peace of her eternal darkness. You can tolerate a great deal of suffering so long as it has meaning. I'm sure you do. But please try to understand that it's not something I can just talk about freely. Very well. Perhaps there's potential in you. Let's see how you handle this. I am indeed a disciple of Shah, Mistress of the Night and Lady of Loss. I assume you've heard of her? Well, if that troubles you, perhaps you should fetch the bailiff to arrest me. Ah, but there's no bailiff here, is there? Just leagues of wilderness and the dangers lurking within. We're in this together, but I'll happily go it alone. My faith will keep me company. You already know my biggest secrets. What more can you ask? What? Besides my life's calling and the greatest problem I've ever faced? Well, I like night orchids and can't swim. Is that the sort of thing you meant? It's a deal. No, I can't. Quite literally, I mean. With my memories suppressed, I can't betray Shah's secrets. But I can't remember much of myself either. If I manage to return to Baldur's Gate and fulfill Shah's mission, then my memories will be restored. Of course. It is an act of faith, not to be undertaken lightly. Shah will reward me when I succeed. All that's happened. You have a talent for understatement, you know that? Specifics, please. Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. We could speak to Ethel, though I'm not keen to trust her. I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course. Home. Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible. Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation. How are you holding up? Don't be so modest. I can't remember the last time I met someone like you. Perhaps I never did. And never will again. I suppose some would commend our actions. Goblins would have razed that whole place to nothing if it weren't for us. No excuse to rest on our laurels, though. We've still got our own problems to contend with. On one hand, they seem useful. But on the other hand, or perhaps tentacle before long, we know where they're coming from, and what lies at the end of that path. I never expected ceremorphosis to be tempting. I think we should resist these powers. There's simply too many unknowns for us to risk it. Well, perhaps you have a point. Fine. Let's explore these powers then. I just hope we don't come to regret it.
I'd like some time to talk.
I suppose you want to hear about Cazador. My old man. Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven and a monster obsessed with power. Not political power or military power, I mean power over people. The power to control them completely. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn, and he became my tormentor. Not him, no. A gang of thugs attacked me. They beat me to... Given that my... It was only afterwards I realized just how long. A vampire's spawn is less than a slave. They're a puppet. Sometimes he'd order us to submit to torture. Sometimes he'd have us torture ourselves. Whatever his weather-vane mood settled on. Thank you. But this isn't about... The Mind Flayers aren't the only monsters out there. They're not even the only ones hunting us. All I'm asking is that you keep your eyes open and watch out for anything lurking in the shadows. What more could I ask? Now, is that all? Oh, darling, I'm hurt. It's out.
You must have questions. It is done.
What's on your mind? We were both part of Zariel. In the grand scheme of things, I'm inconsequential to Zariel. Sure, I've got the engine, but I wasn't even her strongest fighter. She favored me like a child favors a captive pet. Mizora envied the attention, I suppose. I'm sure when Zariel gave her the order to hunt me down, Mizora was delighted. I don't know. You'd think she'd have more important things to do. Devils and their pride. No kidding. The fighting, the chaos, the betrayal. It had the makings of a good stage show, but I did not want to be one of the players.
camp life seems to suit the young owlbear. His coat of feathers seems fuller. His eyes look bright and inquisitive.
My friend! How do you fare? I assure you, I've dreamt of it 1,000 times over.
Volo carefully holds one of your eyes open and begins to prod uncertainly with the needle. The needle finds the gap between eyeball and socket. Volo frowns and begins to push. Pain shoots through your body as the needle snags on your optic nerve.
I think I have it!
The needle seesaws back and forth, plucking the nerve like a harp string.
Oh, bother. There's some obstacle in the way. I shall need a more robust implement.
Volo carefully withdraws the needle from your eye. Then, reaching into his bag, he produces an ice pick. Volo slowly brings the ice pick closer to your eye.
Now, don't move.
Cold metal presses against the skin beneath your brow. And then, tap, tap, stab.
Do you feel that? Ha! I think we have the blighter on the run. I agree. It's a feisty critter. Just a little further.
Volo tears the pick from your brain with a violent jerk. Your eye plops down into the mud.
Drat.
He pauses, looks down at your eye, and recoils slightly as it sinks into the mud.
There appears to be an amount of cosmetic damage. Yes, quite. Well, there is some mild trauma. I can't help but feel partly responsible. Perhaps there is something more I can do. Take this. A far superior relic to that old jelly you were chained to. Try it on for size. And, it was very nice to have met you. I'm sure you'll sort out your little brain problem one way or another. Far away from here, if you've a heart. Terribly sorry, my friend. Ta.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
anything of use?
I believe we're approaching the crash. Once we're inside, let me do the talking.
Just to be clear, you're going to lead us into a nest of Githyanki marauders, and we're supposed to trust that will end well for us. Is that more a sign of the times, I suppose?
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
It's packed too tight.
I'll need a shovel.
Wits and blades, always sharp.
Eager for battle. Worth examining.
The traitor Kithrak takes great interest in this relic of yours, Shadowheart.
I wonder if the gods are watching me. Something good here, I hope.
That's enough. On your feet.
Where are you taking us?
If this is about that weapon your friend was talking about, we don't have it and we don't know shit about it.
Silence! Move!
No. No, I'm not going in there. I won't.
Anyone want to join her? As I thought. Through the doors. Now! The captain is expecting you.
Forward, carefully. These cultists have the crash on high alert.
So the Githyanki aren't fond of the cultists. Could be a good thing.
What do you mean, too drunk? It's not possible.
Wish I had a bag of holding. I don't need any attention right now.
I have to survive this.
What now? These boots have seen everything. I'll strike you down.
That smell. I recognize that vintage. Those kobolds are three sheets. Need to act fast.
What do I have to lose?
My path be true.
Watch this!
Need to stay focused. Bleed for me. Ah!
Traps, please. Moving ahead.
Take you. Take you.
That's curious.
What do I have to lose?
Is someone crying?
Prime spot for an ambush.
Missed. The less magic, the better, or they'll be frenzied. Or worse.
Death. You bow, or you break.
death lies before me. Better not be cursed. Wonder what's past this.
Is someone crying?
Let's see.
Mishkas. They don't react well to magic. Be careful with my spells.
Soldier.
Victory awaits. On the move.
Still breathing, despite everything. On my way.
Let's end this. Heading there.
Eat it.
Time to push my luck again. Death won't take me yet.
This is your end.
Nothing will stand in my way. Huh, I'll give it a shot. Best be on my way. Open up.
finish must be close.
And away I go. Screeching for help!
Let's cook with fire, baby.
Time to strike.
Find a route.
I won't give in. Think you can take me on?
Time to strike. Taking position. This weapon would have been formidable in battle.
So much for peace. Time for some bloody work.
Swift and lethal.
such a break?
I am ready to rest my weary head.
First step is the hardest.